Okay, our next guest on Food Service Radio is John Callerup. John is Director of Sales and Marketing with Food Service Promos. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today. Food Service Promos. For those who have not heard it in the food industry, this is something they're definitely going to want to be aware of. Exactly what is FoodservicePromos.com?
Well, Tom, FoodservicePromos.com is a one-stop shopping website that really is designed for operators to make it easy for them to reduce food costs. And it features promotions, rebates on brands and products and services they use every day.
Can you tell me a little bit exactly how does this program work? Because if I'm a restaurant operator, for example, I don't really have time to check into all the kinds of promos that are available at this website, that website, or whatever. This kind of pulls it all together, doesn't it?
Well, that was the idea behind it. When we launched this about a year ago, there's some other partners in the business, of course, and a lot of food service experience. And one of the things that we found when we were talking to a number of operators and going through processes of preparing the business model was that over 80% of operators had never received a rebate from their distributor or their broker. In this day and age, when the margins are tighter than ever, and restaurants are facing the prospect of having to raise prices for something that they definitely don't want to be doing, this is an area that needs to be examined further. And so we saw a gap between what's available and what operators need. And so we're trying to bridge that gap by putting together a model that takes as many manufacturer rebates, promotions, marketing promotions, et cetera, that's out there, and putting them onto one conglomerated website, almost like an aggregated site. And so this is one place where operators can go to and find out. You can't keep track of every single promotion or rebate that's out there, but there's a lot of them on there. Operators that visit will certainly find products that they use every day, or potentially a new product that they might want to try if it has the right offer for them.
So how does it work? I come to your website. Walk me through the process.
Yeah, so an operator will go to FoodservicePromos.com, and you'll land right on the front page where there'll be some advertisements of manufacturers who are currently running promotions. And then there's a number of tabs. First of all, the first thing you want to do is, if it feels it's got value to you, is you want to log on, become a member. It's free. The only thing that you are doing, it's no different than subscribing to a magazine subscription. Same type of questions, what segment you might be in. Once you fill that in, you are now a member, and we'll get updates on occasion when rebates are becoming available. Also, be notified when certain rebates are being expired, and so that's done through email. For your experience on the website itself, you're free then, once you log in, to peruse and surf all over the website for different promotions, either by category or by manufacturer. You can search by key ingredients. You can look up recipes. There's a recipe database which is growing, and really you can find branded recipes. You can build your own personal recipe database and keep it on file. So that's part of membership. So there's really a lot you can do. The main underlying factor of it, though, Tom, is to help operators keep an eye on the bottom line and save money on products that they're already using, or maybe thinking about trying something through a menu upgrade.
Can you give us a couple of examples? I mean, what kind of savings are we talking about? Because this could be huge. Well,
it could be huge, and in a lot of cases, if you're tied to a particular, a lot of manufacturers now will run promotions that cover multiple brands, and so if you're using one or more of those brands, and you buy cases at a time, and you actually can have the ability to have a little storage room for it, you can save thousands of dollars, maybe just from one manufacturer. So while the cases themselves, a lot of times if we're talking rebates, they may be something that would be anywhere from $1 a case to $2, $3, $5, $15 a case. It really depends on the type of product. But you start doing the math and you put this together, taking advantage of these things can have dramatic impact, directly on the bottom line. And the most influential area that we're talking about is food costs. And so it's real money, it's real dollar savings. And the benefit here is that as opposed to a point system or a reward system, which you can still take advantage of on other sites and other types of organizations. This is really focused on bottom line, cold, hard cash dollar savings.
Well, I look at under the food promos tab on your website, and here are just some of the categories for food service operators to take note of. They can get into appetizers, bread and bakery, breakfast, condiments, dressings, sauces and oils, desserts, eggs, cheese and dairy, fruits and vegetables, meats, poultry, fish and seafood, pasta, rice and grains, salads, seasoning and spices, and of course soups and stews. That's a pretty nice range of different kinds of foods. Do you have you had any particular areas that have been maybe more popular than others out of the gate?
Well, popular brands are usually things that operators are always after. Name brands that you'd recognize, as opposed to, meat products, a big seller, whether it's steak, poultry, burgers, that's one of the top selling, I think, rebates that we might offer. In general, it just really depends. Obviously, there's so many segments, it's going to vary, but the nice thing about it is no matter what area you're interested in, there's a pretty good chance you're going to find a rebate on something that you use, and you can take advantage of right there on FoodservicePromos.com.
So you go to the website, FoodservicePromos.com, and you log in. How do you go about finding and downloading a promotion and then redeeming it?
Well, so let's say you're on the main page, and I know this is radio, so we're going to use our visual mind. And there's usually 4 ads that are on the front page that are premium spots. If one of those catches your eye, you click on it, and it brings you to what's called a more in-depth sheet. Okay, so you're now on to another sheet that has more information on the product. You click again, and that brings you to the rebate page. And once you're on the rebate page, if you've already become a member and filled out at that point, it pre-populates everything for you. So you don't have to type everything in. The only thing you'll have to do at the end is type in the quantities that you've purchased and then write the number in. So, and you can save the forms as well. So if you want to save it for at the end of the quarter when the promotion is now run out and it's now time to use the form to send the rebate in, you can go back to the site, now print it, and you're all set to go. Handwrite it in, staple it to your manufacturer invoice or your distributor invoice, and send it off. In some cases, depending on who's doing the redemption, you can actually scan it in and email things off. So we're trying to make it simpler and as easy and simple as possible for operators who are just strapped for time.
Always a concern when dealing with the internet. Your account information is kept private, yes?
Oh yeah, the only people that see any data that's entered into the system is the staff of Food Service Promos. The data is not sold or shared with anybody outside the organization. It's simply used for us to better make sure that when we talk to manufacturers, we can represent and show them the kinds of segments that are out there, and make sure that we're able to get the best manufacturers brought to the operators as possible.
If you're just joining us on Food Service Radio today, we're talking with John Callerup. He is Director of Sales and Marketing of a relatively new concept, I guess a year in the making. It's called Food Service Promos, and their website, of course, is FoodservicePromos.com. This is an aggregate site for food service operators to avail themselves of all kinds of excellent food promotions and hopefully save themselves a boatload of money in the process. How did you guys get the idea to do this, John?
Well, a number of our partners, there's 4 partners in the business, and they have agency experience in working with food service manufacturers, so they deal a lot with the manufacturers themselves and, of course, operators. And as I mentioned earlier in the process, what we found was, well, we all know that the margins are thin for operators, and we also know that any way that the person can save money is a good thing. But what we found through our research is that most operators are not aware or are too busy to go out. They're either not aware of rebates and promotions that are available from manufacturers, or they don't have the time to look them up and to go find them, because literally you can spend dozens of hours trying to scour and find everything out on the internet. So what we had the concept was, well, let's bridge this gap and let's bring these savings directly to the operator And that puts the operator and the manufacturer closer to that one-to-one relationship that I think both sides would like. And so that's the concept behind it, and it's really been warmly received, and both sides of the fence, both the manufacturers and the operators, very excited about it, and we're getting a lot of momentum.
You mentioned that there's excitement building. Is there any particular pieces of good feedback that stand out in terms of kinds of things that they're especially appreciating about the site?
Well, Tom, the main thing is just the time saving and the fact that, as an operator, you don't have to go out looking all over the place and spend, a lot of hours trying to find things. As a matter of fact, if you go to the site, you become a member, we send things to you, and so you can just, open up your inbox once a week or whenever it's sent out, and find what's out there. You can click right to the site because you're a member. You're logged in automatically if you have your cookies turned on, of course, and so you can just start perusing the site. So it's really time saving, and of course, ultimately it's money saving because this is real dollar savings we're providing. So those are the two big things. And then, our job is to constantly be on the lookout and to continue to sign up manufacturers and to provide, a wide breadth of offerings and not only in food service or food itself, but also beverages and services as well. So we're constantly trying to add and to provide more value to operators.
I look at some of these promotions, and not only are they offering some great deals in terms of money you can save on specific food products and different brands, but they also offer a chance to win a free Master Chef consultation, which you say is an $8,000 value.
That's right. One of the manufacturers that's currently advertising or listing promotions on Food Service Promos is Cargill. And Cargill has a fantastic offer that if you take advantage of one of the rebates of any quantity, you can enter to win a free Master Chef consultation, which is an $8,000 value. And that's going to be actually taking place at the end of the drawing, I believe, is at the end of May, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's not only chances to provide immediate value to something like a chef consultation. There'll be menu reviews. You'll have opportunities to take part in sweepstakes where there's trips involved. All these things that manufacturers come up with to gain interest from operators. These are all things that are available on the site, and that's why it's actually labeled promotions and not rebates. FoodservicePromos.com, because there's multiple ways to get operators excited and involved and engaged with manufacturers. So that's what we focus on. Is anything that's out there that would be of value to operators, that's what we try to present.
John, you also mentioned earlier briefly the recipe database. How many recipes do you have? And if an operator goes there, what kind of stuff can they find even at this date?
Well, the recipe database is very new, so I want to start that right up front because the main focus, we don't want to become too diluted in what we offer. And so the focus initially during the first year has been really on ramping up and providing the best value we can to operators. But what we found in talking to operators and what we know from research is that the number one researchable thing in food service on the internet is recipes. And so we provide a number of recipes, and they're broken into categories, and again, this is constantly being added to, where we also provide a food service calculator, so you can take a consumer recipe and type everything in right into this easy-to-use interface, and it just spits out the number and gives you the exact quantities, changes the measurements based on how much you want to, the volume you want to prepare. So it's a pretty slick deal. And operators can also add to the recipes, they can save some for themselves. They can start, make it their central portal for recipes to go to if they wish online, because it's all stored up on the server in the cloud. So it's a new part of the service, Tom, but we see it as a real value add.
Well, I look at the recipes here that I see here, and some of them are really tempting. Zucchini brownies, butter mints, yogurt cake recipe, apple butter bread, lemon pound cake. Lots of cakes here. You got cowboy coffee cake, blueberry fluted cake. So a lot of nice choices, even though this is a relatively new feature.
Well, and some of those initial ones are part of the value for manufacturers is, they have research chefs that spend countless hours putting together recipes for their brands that are just outstanding. and this gives them an opportunity to showcase that a little bit. So, along with having a really neat and tasty dish to prepare, you're getting it's using the brand, the research chefs who've put countless hours into preparing these things and coming up with these fantastic recipes. But also in some cases they bring along the added value of watching a video, which will go right along with it to help you walk through the steps of preparing it, or if there's some special method that's needed to kind of give you that extra bonus that you won't find really floating around on YouTube. You can find these value-added things from manufacturers right there on FoodservicePromos.com.
Well, one final question, John. As you look, you're just wrapping up your first year with Food Service Promos. What's on the horizon? What do you want to see this site become and expand to?
Well, what we're really looking to do to take this concept and become more social with it and getting more into the social space. Obviously, social media is made for restaurants. It's about the perfect marriage of technology that you could get, and for good and bad sometimes. But it's a great way in a low cost way in most cases for operators to market. And so we want to be able to make sure that we're part of that. So we're going to be spending some resources and trying to make this more social and more part of a larger part of the overall network, and it's all in the works, and I can't have anything really specific to talk to other than to say that that's our focus, and that's where we're kind of strategizing on doing that, and that can come together, pretty quickly, I think, once we get our things finalized. That's really where we're going to be focusing, that and providing more value, more variety, and more manufacturers and rebates to get them into the hands of operators.
Well, we've been talking with John Callerup. He's Director of Sales and Marketing for Food Service Promos. You can check him out at FoodservicePromos.com. If you're a food service operator, lots to take advantage of and help yourself at the bottom line. John, thank you very much for taking time with us.
Thanks, I appreciate it.